And action.
Good morning. It's brew day, Saturday. Graham here from the Homebrew Network, and I got my buddy Derek doing the videoing. You can say hi, Derek.
Hello. This is my first brew.
Derek's never brewed before, so he's gonna check out what I'm doing. He's not gonna be here for the full day, but he'll see enough just to get the idea. This is actually a beer that he's contracted me for. So I got your coffee, Derek.
Thank you.
So I've got my water going in the garage, and we're going to start doing our hop additions, measuring them out at least. And measured out for the second beer we're doing a Parti Gyle batch. Parti Gyles date all the way back to the medieval times. Maybe even before that. What would happen was they would get a shit ton of grains, put it into a big frickin' mash tun, and add a whole ton of water to it that would measure out to be the same amount for 2 to 3 beers. And the way it would work would be, first runnings would be for the big beer, which would be for the royalty, or if the monks were doing it, it would be for the head monk. And the second runnings would be for, in the kingdom, anybody who had money that could afford beer. And if it was in the abbey, I believe it was the higher class monks. And then the third runnings, which hardly had any alcohol in it, because by that time, let's see, the second batch is going to be around 1.04, 1.035. So the third runnings would probably be about 1.015, which is hardly anything. So that would go to just about anybody who could afford anything. So, anyways, so we got our hops. We're doing a Citra Simcoe Amarillo double IPA. Look at all those hops. Just look at them. Okay, so we're going to measure out our hops. We're starting with a 20-minute addition. By the way, get a close-up of my shirt. The guys on the network want to see this.
Amazing.
Oh, it's Christopher Walken, man. I told them I had this shirt, and a lot of them were like, we got to see it. So,
yes.
So we're going to start with our 20-minute addition, which is Citra. I got Simcoe in my hands. Let's get the right one. All right.
That might help.
Might help. So here in America, we use the imperial system. However, I have myself a scale that measures everything out in grams. So I have to convert my my ounces to grams. And I'm measuring out 1 ounce, which is equal to 28.3 grams, and I need 1.5 ounces for my first addition. So, what is that? Why don't I just put it in the converter?
Hey, there it is.
Yeah.
Somebody thought of that before.
42.5.
All right.
So, we got our Citra. You know what? I got 1 ounce in here. Yeah, we'll just put that in there. That should be about 29 ounces. I wonder how they measure 29 grams. I mean, what the hell am I saying? I wonder how
a lot of hops.
You know, they claim that this is 1 ounce, but it's telling me 29. I wonder. I gotta ask, Gash Slug, you use the metric system every day of your life. How much of a difference is 0.6 grams gonna make? I tell you nothing, because this is an IPA. We want hops, damn it. Might be getting some hops in your coffee. For that, I apologize.
It's all right.
Okay, so
little extra kick.
We want 42.5.
30, 42.
42.6, close enough. 42.59. I like it. Alright, so that's our first addition. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a baggie and mark it 20 minutes. Derek brought up a good question. Why do we put our hops in the freezer? We put the hops in the freezer to keep them fresh. Because as the hops are out, they start to lose their potency. So when you freeze them, it helps lock in that potency. And the tighter the bag is, the better. So, very good question. 15 minutes. We're going to add 2 ounces. Well, that's easy. So all we're going to do is we're going to grab 2 bags, since they're pre-measured. 2 bags Citra. We're going to put that in a baggie. We've got a total of 20-minute edition, 15-minute edition, 10-minute edition, 5-minute edition, and then when flame goes out, 5 editions.
Okay.
Including dry hopping, because I'm doing an ounce of each different hops at dry hopping, we got a total of 10 ounces for this batch.
It's quite a bit.
Quite a bit. Okay, so we've got 2 more additions to measure out, which is simple because I believe they are 1 ounce each, right here. So we've got the 5-minute edition being the Amarillo hops, and then we've got Flame Out being the Simcoe hops. And then I've got 1 ounce of each for my dry hopping. It's always important that you mark your bags.
You don't want to mix those up. That can make it worse.
Mystery hop. I know which one it is too. It's a Citra. Which one should I put it in?
Nothing can get past this man.
I am so smart. Okay. Okay, so hop additions are measured out, ready to do that. The water's still heating up, so let's grind some malt.
Let's do that.
Awesome. Well, what do you want to do, Derek?
I think I want to mill some malts.
Yeah, what is that? I think we got some Maris Otter there. Yep, Maris Otter.
You got what, 4 bags of it?
Yep, we've got 20 pounds of Maris Otter and a pound of 80 Crystal. So we're going to have a nice light to medium colored IPA going on here. So you can go ahead and open that up, buddy. This hopper will hold just about 5 pounds, so Mike Stauffer, I'm going to get a hopper just like you. You wait and see. Buddy in my group has a hopper that he made from one of those 5-gallon water jugs.
Okay.
And he props it up on here, and he cut off the bottom, and he just puts everything in there, and it just goes.
Oh, look at that.
What's in there? What's in there, Derek? Tell me, tell me. Oh my goodness, look at that.
It's a whole lot of goodness.
Oh, it smells good. Maris Otter, I love you. So we just got done milling all the grains for the IPA, right, Derek?
Yes.
Okay. So I got some rice hulls here. I'm going to kiss them and give them.
Good luck.
Yeah, and put them in here. Yes. Go. Be with your grains. Okay, later I'm gonna actually put some rice hulls in the mash tun also before I put any of that in because it's such a huge grain bill. So, what can we do now?
Maybe go into the garage.
We can check the temperature on the water. So you can see we want 150 degrees and right now we are at 95.6. That's Fahrenheit. Do your own calculations for Celsius. So Derek, what's your question?
Why do they call it an India Pale Ale?
It's an India Pale Ale because this is so good. We just did a review on the palate wrecker. Palate wrecker.
It was pretty good.
It was awesome. So India Pale Ale. So back in the 18th century, Britain brewed. It wasn't always pale. They actually brewed stuff that was close to what a porter would be, and the people down in India that they would ship beer to, because they had, I believe it was territories that they had, or colonies, back when they wanted to conquer the world. I'm so buzzed. What
the English would make it.
The British would make it, and or English, and they'd ship it down there. Well, at the behest of the East India Trading Company, they said, "Hey, you know that pale ale that you make with the hops?" And they said, "Yeah." They said, "Throw more hops in it, because we just love that flavor." So the guys down there in India were like, "Yeah, send us more of that stuff." So it became known as the India Pale Ale, and it became famous slowly but surely because people in England said, "Oh, what is that stuff?" And they said, why don't you try some?" And they said, "Oh, I will."
Nice example.
And it's awesome. We must have more. So word spread, and India Pale Ales became famous.
Nice. All right, so it was a demand thing. That's why they were shipped to India.
Supply and demand. A lot of people. There is a rumor floating around. Now, here's an interesting fact. Somebody once said because hops are they help prevent bacteria growth due to the high acidity, the alpha acids in them. They help prevent bacteria. Well, it is true to a point that they do help with that. However, the rumor is that they put so many freaking hops in the barrels that were shipped on the ships because it was such a long ride that they would get down there. That's not the case. It's just because people like the flavor.
Gotcha.
They loved hops. And they should have. They should have loved those hops. And they did. And I thank them for promoting the idea.
So there's your history lesson on IPAs.
There you go. Professor Graham from the Homebrew Network, at your service. Hi. Okay, we're back, and we have reached our temperature. I'm going to go ahead, throw in some rice hulls, just for good luck. Okay, so we lost some heat because I had that open while introducing the grains. And you gotta remember your grains are gonna be at whatever temperature you have them sitting in. I had them in the house, which put them at about 70 degrees. So it's gonna drop my temperature down, but I'm running Herms, so I'm gonna just bring up that temperature. It'll take a while, but before I do that, I'm going to Vorloof. You wanna keep it sort of 3/4 to halfway closed. Some people after a while will open up all the way. But if you zoom in there, you can see little pieces of grain floating around. That is why we're doing this. If I were to just let my Herms still filter this all the way through the system in the lines, these little pieces of grain will add up and they'll clog up my lines. Okay, so it's moving through here, it's going to come down, and it should be making its way through.
You have your heating coil in there, right? Cool.
Yeah. Pretty soon we should see it change.
Yep.
There's an air bubble, and there goes the color. And remember, we're doing a Parti Gyle. So once this mash is done, I'm going to introduce some new grains to this. We're going to have, I got some chocolate malt, I got some brown malt, and I got some biscuit malt. So we're mashed in now. We're going to let it equilibrate to the temperature we want. Start the timer. Maybe have another beer. And that's that. It's important that you get those dough balls out of there, like I said, because you're not going to get the right efficiency with dough balls. The other thing you got to keep in mind is after you introduce your grains, you got to verloof. Now, you saw me do that in the video. Hopefully Derek videotaped it correctly. I have not gone back and watched the tape. I hope you guys enjoyed him doing that. He helped me out a lot. He's gone now, so I am solo on the taping. But an important thing to remember in mashing is you could have a couple things go wrong. You could have a compacted mash bed. The grain just gets so compacted that it won't let that much water go through. That was one of my problems. After I got done doughing in, I turned my pump back on. After verloofing, I turned the pump back on, and all of a sudden I just wasn't getting the same flow that I should be. So I tried a couple tactics. This has been discussed on the network. I was actually the one that asked the question because I thought this might happen to me, and it did. So what I did was, first I got my air compressor out, and I decided to blow a lot of air through the ball valve. Didn't fix it. Well, first I tried it with my mouth. Nothing was happening. I blew as hard as I could. And all I got was a bunch of wort in the mouth, which tasted awesome. So then I tried the air compressor. That didn't work. Next thing I did was I took my mash paddle and I just moved all the grains around on the bottom of the bed. That fixed it. Because as soon as I started moving those grains around, I started hearing the bubbles. And I got my flow back. So we're still waiting for the temp to get back up, but those are some tips to remember if you're not getting, if you're doing recirculation, you get that problem, check your grain bed, just move them around a little bit and then verloof some more, and then kick your pumps back on. I promise you it'll work again. Another problem will happen when you're sparging. You'll have a stuck sparge, but the same problem will happen. You'll be introducing the water, but the flow will just stop coming out. Could be the same problem, because you move the grain around when you're sparging, especially if you're batch sparging. If you're batch sparging, you're just dumping a shit ton of water in there, moving that grain bed around. The grain bed will then reform on your false bottom and compact. Move that around some more, verloof, and start your sparging again. Check out the grain bill for the mild. We got chocolate malt, victory malt, and some brown malt. We're going to throw that into our mash tun. Just smells amazing. It's going to go in once our mash is done for the IPA and the runnings are out. And we're going to throw this in for about half an hour. Ooh, I'm so excited. Yes, I am. My buzzer just went off. I've been mashing for over an hour and a half now. So I'm really interested in seeing what we got for our final pre-boil gravity on this thing. I doubt I'm going to have to mash any further because I think an hour and a half is enough. But we're just going to check it out. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and... There we go. That's where we're at for pre-boil. I say that's pretty damn good. I was supposed to be more along the lines of 16 bricks with 55% efficiency. That's really good. So almost 18 bricks on pre-boil. That's more than what I estimated with 55% efficiency, which means my efficiency is higher than 55% with this kind of grain bill. Awesome! Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wort, put it in my boil kettle, start the boil. I'll start this back up when I get that boil going, and I'm ready for the hop additions. Woo! And also, once I get done moving what I need into here to boil, I'm going to put in my new grains for the second batch. While we're putting everything into the boil kettle, it's important to remember that you shouldn't really get a lot of grains in your boil kettle. Because what will happen is, as the temperature increases, any grains that are in there is going to release tannins, and you don't want tannins. Like before, you didn't want to squeeze your mash too hard when mixing it. I mean, you could move it around in there, just, you know, don't like, mash, I must mash. Don't do that. Tannins. And then same with boiling. You don't want them in there because that'll release more tannins. And then you got more off flavors, and then you got a weird tasting beer. Unless you're into that sort of thing. Now that I'm done transferring everything to the boil kettle, I've checked my gravity. Let's put the rest of these grains into the mash, start our second beer. Okay, so I didn't do what I had planned on. I figured 20 minutes would be enough time to convert the specialty grains, especially since when you're doing extract, you only steep them for about that long. So the color looks great. It's a nice, nice dark color. I'm gonna let it pull out about as close as I can get to 5 gallons until I run out, and I'll move it. Let's just check it on the bricks. There you go. We are between 10 and 11 brick. I just wanted to show you guys how I dispose of dirty water, anything left over. I got a wet dry vac. It's 2.5 gallons. Fill it up. If it's grain, I put it in the garbage, which in the summertime I put it into my oh, what the hell, the thing in the back that breaks stuff down, composter. If it's liquid, just throw it out the window. It's as easy as that. It's time for our 20-minute edition. 20 minutes. I don't remember what this was. If you want to know what it was earlier, you can go back. I think it's Citra, but here we go. I'm including my new hop spider. I made a video on this if you want to watch. Oh my god, it smells amazing. Time's up. Alright. 15-minute mark. 4 o'clock. Two ounces of Citra hops. Oh, that was hot. Okay. So, we're finally boiling with the mild. Whoop. Why am I getting that out? Okay, so we got our 1 ounce of Golding hops. We're going to start that at 60-minute mark. We already reached our hot break, so there we go. In 15, now we're going to do our 10, which should be 1.5 ounces of Citra. Alright, 5-minute edition. Amarillo, 1 ounce. Whoa, hey, look at that. Time. So let's see where that puts us. We are at the 0-minute mark. 0. Simcoe. I want to take this time to show you guys something. It's my Wort Chiller. You guys have seen it on Homebrew Network. I put some screws in there, drilled some holes in the side of my rig to mount it. Let's see. Yeah, mount it like that. So I went ahead and I bought Quick Connect for the hose. It's awesome, I love it! Alright, I got no more drips because of that Quick Connect. There's nothing redneck about this. Nothing at all. That's right. I got tired of water going out into my driveway and freezing, so thankfully I have a window in my garage and I could just put the water out that way. Alright, now that you've seen my chilling process, okay, I'm done chilling. I got it in my fermenter. I wound up with about 4 gallons. I mismeasured once again. I meant to put 6 gallons in my boil pot. I really put in about 5 gallons. So, let's see what we got. Yes! Oh, this is awesome. 20 bricks. So there's the bricks. My efficiency was way more than I thought it would be. Awesome. You know what though? It's better to anticipate less efficiency than more efficiency. So there you have it. There's my brew day for the IPA. I'm going to follow up with the mild next. It's the same process. I'm going to skip the chilling part for y'all, and we're just going to go straight to the reading for what I get after the boil and chilling's done. Before we get to the chilling of the mild, here's my starter for the IPA. I did a 1 liter starter. I poured off the beer, the nasty beer that's on top, swirled it around. I let it come up to room temp for about 45 minutes before I'm pitching it now. Okay, let's go ahead and check that mild. Alright, that is a terrible reading. It's about 13 if you can see that. I'm trying to get the camera just right. My apologies. 13 for the... So brew day went a lot smoother today. I forgot to mention that on the IPA I'm using the US 05 or the Safe Ale 05 dry yeast, and for the mild I'm using Nottingham. So overall I'm very pleased with my efficiency with such a huge beer. Thank you for watching this video. And like I said in many other videos, and I might have said in this one, it's just been one of those busy days with brewing. Go to the Homebrew Network on Facebook and go to www.thehomebrewnetwork.com. If you're really into getting to know people, we also have stuff on JTV. Gash Slug's on there, Ralph Bennett's on there. We've got links to such websites on the Homebrew Network website. You also have links to YouTube videos such as this one for other people on the Homebrew Network. So check it out. We got people from all over the world. It's fun stuff. So until next time, have fun, brew safe,